One of the most complicated situations that you'll encounter when trying to make a commercial real estate decision is when you're doing it with family. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of my experiences working with families that have tried to sell a piece of commercial real estate or even buy a piece of commercial real estate, and some of the challenges that come with that, as well as some recommendations I have from my own experience in helping families come to the point where they're making the right decision for the family about the property. So the first thing is, if you are in a situation where you own a piece of investment property with your family, or you're in a situation where you may have had a loved one who passed, a mother or a father who passed, and there's now an inheritance, or there's a passing of the asset to a trust, or it's gone into an estate, and there are some decisions that have to be made about what to do with the property. The very first thing I can tell you is, the better organized you are before this happens, the better off you're going to be. And what I mean by that is, I often run into situations where a family member will call me and they will ask me to come out and perform a valuation on a piece of commercial real estate. We'll start the conversation with what the current situation is, and they'll explain to me that they have siblings who are involved in making the decision, and that everyone involved in the family has a different understanding of what the valuation is. I have a video about this. It's here, you can check it out. It has to do with similarity between coffee mugs and establishing value, which is based on Nobel Prize winning research. It's pretty interesting and might be helpful. With the family members, when you're trying to come up with valuation, the very first thing you want to do is sit down with everyone and figure out who's going to be in charge of making the final decision. And that family member needs to be the person who has the courage and the strength to go through the process and to act as a fiduciary on behalf of the family. They also need to be the one that other family members are comfortable with making that decision, because no matter what happens, someone is likely to disagree with what is about to transpire. So the better off you are at meeting as a family and talking through these issues together, the more successful your sale is going to be. The second thing is, the sale is probably going to have some emotional issues tied to it. I once met with a family that had a building probably 50 years, and it was developed by their father. The kids grew up at the family business, at the building, and over the years, the mother and the father passed away. They had lost a sibling, and they got to the point where it was time for them to retire the business and dispose of the real estate, and then distribute the equity to the remaining siblings. When we sat down and had our consultation with them, one of the things I asked them was to imagine themselves in the situation when they were going to have to sign an offer to sell the property. One of the family members started crying. They started crying in the meeting, which is a very normal reaction, and the reason for that is this person was reminiscing about all of the memories that he shared with his father in the office in which we were meeting. So sometimes sitting down and going through the exercise of figuring out how's it going to feel when will help family members start to break in or get accustomed to the idea that this is going to be an uncomfortable, possibly emotional process. And not only is valuation going to be important, but once we get into the situation where they're facing true change, they should be prepared for the feelings that are going to be associated with that. So here I thought, when I got into commercial real estate, that I was getting away from the emotions that are often associated with residential real estate, where you're selling a home and a buyer is buying a house. But oftentimes with families that are making real estate decisions, it feels like you're selling a home, because you have so many emotions and memories tied to that piece of property. Memories and emotions that your buyer will not have. So that's something that is important to be mindful of when you're going through or about to go through the process of selling a piece of commercial real estate. The last thing I can tell you is that when you are preparing, you should have an attorney that is skilled in estate and probate and trust matters to make sure that all of your paperwork is in the right position before you go to market. The reason for this is when you go to market and you invite another party, a buyer, to the table to get engaged in a discussion about selling to them, and then it comes up that you have unresolved trust issues, unresolved estate issues, unresolved probate issues, that can throw a wrench into the transaction. It can cause delays, it can create uncertainty, and in a market where you may have transitions in value and interest rates, that could end up being costly for the family if your transaction is in fact delayed. So better to get your house in order with your family and with the property before you go to market and present it to a potential buyer who's going to come and oftentimes get involved with you through your representative, ideally, who can buffer some of this for you, but making sure that you have everything in place so that when you do go to market, you are prepared and you're able to execute and sell in a clean and easy transaction. So these are my 3 tips just from personal experience. I've been involved in over 1,000 commercial real estate transactions. These are the things that come up repeatedly. I oftentimes will sit down in our initial conversations and I'll ask these questions. How does the idea of not owning this property anymore feel? Can you imagine yourself not being here? How would you feel about someone else coming in and owning this property? And what do you feel it's worth? We often end up also having discussions about legacy. Sometimes families want to make sure that they're selling it to someone who's going to maintain or continue some aspect of the legacy that was started by the prior owners. So being aware of these things is very important, and we tend to spend a lot of time talking about these things because it helps us to get a better understanding if we're the right firm to help you with your family's decision about selling a piece of commercial real estate. So if you decide that you'd like to talk a little bit more about that, you'd like to reach out to us, you can visit our website at mansardcre.com. In the top right corner of the site, you'll see a button that says Request a Consultation. Click on that button. It will open a pop-up form. In that form, you will see first name, last name, email, phone, and a comment box. That's where you can put in your information about what you're looking to do. When you hit submit, our office will reach out to you and we will arrange a short phone call. We'll ask each other some questions and decide whether we're the right people to help you. Or you can dial our office at 617-674-2043. We'll return your call or answer the call immediately, and in that discussion we'll gather some information. We'll then set up a discovery call, and one of our experts will be in touch and we'll have a conversation where, again, we'll ask each other some questions and we'll find out if you feel that we are the right people to help you. My name is Jeremy Cyrier. Thanks for watching the video. Great to meet you. And if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. We continually post videos about commercial real estate questions and insights, and we routinely update on what the market's doing in the greater Boston area. Thanks and take care.